Nice to see you again on this beautiful Sunday. Today we want to talk about an idea bite, which is the here and now, is eternity. Somehow the equivalent to the eternity is the here and now. Therefore, I prepared a quote from Eric Fromm where he states the painter has to hassle with color and canvas and brushes, the sculptor with stone and chisel, yet the creative act, the vision of what they are going to create transcends them, transcends time. It is the same for every manifestation of being, the experience of loving, of joy, of grasping truth does not occur in the time, but in the here and now. The here and now is eternity. What are your ideas on this? What are your thoughts, Peyton?
Wonderful, wonderful quote, wonderful thoughts. I think about this all the time. And to me, this speaks to really the core of a lot of first person spiritual walks, whether it's under the guise of many different religions. A lot of them are saying the same thing in terms of the soul that we have within us, this consciousness that we have within us. We are already fully in communion with God. We are already fully in communion with our deepest self, with our spirit, with our soul, with the Holy Spirit, with the now, with all of this. As soon as we allow it, as soon as we accept this free gift of eternal life, and it's something that's very. It can seem very abstract or talking around. It's something that personally, like, I can become very disconnected with this and very far from it. And a lot of the other parts of what these traditions talk about is all the things that we're actively doing to separate ourselves from this now, from this connection, from this eternal experience and eternal, I guess, connection, consciousness, awareness in the present moment that we have. And how is it that this ephemeral moment, as many people would label it, could be eternity? Obviously, right this moment is not forever, but the sort of experience that we can connect with in terms of the now, in terms of experience in this moment, is that when we totally let go of grasping, when we totally let go of thinking, of forcing, of labeling, of talking to ourselves, of the ego, and let go of grasping, clinging, this posture toward experience that is totally conditioned in us, totally natural for us to be in 24/7, unless we have a strong intention to sink into something deeper. But this moment, this now, when we truly do release all of that, when we truly do sink into the reality that's always already available to us, we can feel that this moment, when we're not talking, when we're not thinking, when we're not thinking about this moment, when we're not thinking about the now, but we're just being in pure communion with direct experience, there is no time there. In this moment, it actually is not this experience of there being this slideshow and us moving through this thing that we call time. This is kind of a story in a way of framing and understanding this experience, but a more directly experientially true way of observing the situation that we find ourselves in is that there is a constant stream of various sensory experience and mental activity that is playing and forever changing in front of us. We have the visual field, we have the audio field, we have tactile sensations, sometimes we have smells and tastes, and almost all the time we have mental activity that's kind of superimposed in front of the whole thing. And it's only in this chatter, this story of the mental activity, that we can find what seems to be such a compelling narrative around, I am this name, I have this past, I have this future. In 3 moments, I'm going to go here. I'm leaning into this expectation or subtle anticipation, even if it's implicit, of this next moment. But when we let go of this activity, and sink into what's passive and already here, when we can relax and accept and allow to dissolve and cease to separate ourselves from it and completely connect with what's right here in this moment, we can see that it's just this constant sort of movie of all of these senses, with including the projections that we bundle and label together as a self, that's just constantly changing at all times. It's just this ever changing now. There is this exact reality. All that exists is right here. All that exists is right now. And it's just always shapeshifting moment to moment. And we're observing this play out, but we are always in eternity. Thoughts of the past and the future are what conjure up this narrative of us being main characters that travel through time, that have things to resist, things to push away, things to crave, things to cling on to, because of this burden of the past and the future that we carry around on our shoulders like two tremendous boulders. But what's already always available to us is this free gift of the now. And it's something that we can't earn. It's something that we can't conjure up. We can't force. We can't work for. We can only accept what has been given to us. We can only accept and sink into what's already this tremendous potential blessing in our lives. But it's also nothing that we can grab. It's nothing we can export. It's nothing that we can show to others. It's nothing that we can even hold on to and just like take a picture of for our own right. It's something only to we can only receive it to the extent that we give ourselves up to it. This now, this deep and rich and nourishing connection that's always right there with us, right there within us, right there in front of us, but at the same time, frequently cut off, frequently something that we feel separated from, and we have an experience of being separated from. And I think that a core component of this to just understand, and something that I am continually trying to integrate over time, is remembering that the richest, most beautiful, most bright light that we possess, this gift of eternity, this incredible blessing of connection with the present moment, or some people would call it nirvana, some people would call it a lot of different things, but it's already here. It's already something that is our birthright as conscious beings. It is an intrinsic characteristic of consciousness when we can allow the other things to fall away. And that allowing, that posture of, we're not forcing and putting things in place and trying to work toward earning this and trying to make this happen and try to put this together and fight and struggle and resist or whatever. It's ironically, and that's what we incline to do when we seek to pursue something like this, myself included. That's really my nature, to try to earn, fight, and toil and struggle. But it's in the releasing, it's in the surrender, it's in the repentance and the begin again mindset that we can let go of the past, let go of the story of ourselves that projects all the way back, all the way forward, and therefore cuts us off from this ever-present now experience of reality that we have right in front of us. When we can do that, when we can relax into this, it is there for us, and it is there in a way that we don't need to just take somebody's word for it, that we can actually experience this and tap into it and do it on demand and on purpose, once we train ourselves in this way to relax and let go. And that's really how I view a lot of my own path and my own I guess the goal and the nourishment of much of this is this relaxation, this posture, this sort of repositioning my perspective toward my direct experience, to allow myself to fully connect, fully drink from, and fully commune with something that I have nothing to do with creating or manifesting or inventing myself. It's only a relaxation of my tendency to separate and disconnect myself from it, to sin, or to trap myself in patterns of thought. And yeah, it's practice that I very seldom remember, very seldom tap into, but it's a wonderful truth that this is always available to us, and this is an incredible gift that we have when we remember that we have it, and when we allow ourselves to sink into acceptance of this. That's at least how I think about it and feel it out in my own personal journey. What are your thoughts?
And beautifully put, as a free gift that is always available to us. That's why it is called present.
Yes.
And I also love the thought about beginning again, because all there is right now is the moment we have. is the ability to connect to our sensory experiences, to really take it all in and really take the world into our senses and dealing with reality, how we experience it. In German, there is a slight difference between two words like Wirklichkeit and Realität, reality and reality, but one is more connotated with the reality that is made out of your experience, like your own reality, so to say, not the objective reality. So this is also nice to have because you always can connect to how you experience the world and just be in the flow and just anchor yourself and begin again every moment. And there also the concept of flow, of the state of being in total flow comes into play. Because if you really connect and narrow down your focus to a thing that you are doing, then you're also somehow connected, but not in this open sensory way, but in this narrow, focused way. You're connected to a moment in time which dissolves its time, so you experience no time anymore, which also is somehow a representation of eternity. So you wake up again from a night ride and you realize, oh man, I've been driving around for 8 hours now, but it seems to me like only 1 hour. You look up of your from your painting and think, oh man, that was a nice short session, but then you realize, oh, that was like 5 hours where you sat there and were immersed in your craft. So to say, there's a difference between the narrow-focused, eternal moment and the open-minded, open awareness focused moment where you take all the experiences in. And we only have this moment, and to better be able to evolve in a better way, we really should deal with reality as it is, not with illusions that we have maybe having from the future, like visions that are totally out of reach or something like that, or past illusions, like things that we wish would have better been done differently. But we can connect to this moment to really deal with what we have right now. And surely there's a quality of visions which gives us the energy to move things and therefore change things in the external world. But at the moment, it is important to really deal with what you have. And therefore, living in this eternity is not the mode of being which you should like constantly be in, like a monk, because you could not function in a world where you strive for reasonable and worthy goals. So you would not be able to really move the things further towards your vision. But this dance between coming back to your sensory inputs, coming back to your focus on your work, on your mission that you really feel like an idea that is calling you, that you want to work on, and that you feel you are made for. You're solely put on this earth to pursue this idea, to bring it into the world. And so this dance between the doing and the being is an important thought that I also wanted to share, because it's not always the best idea to just be in one state all the time. Not only think all the time and get lost in thoughts, but think for purpose of planning ahead and moving in the world the next best step forward. And then being again, not being just for being sake, but to experience your life and live the full catastrophe and the real human experience you have. Just connecting with yourself, with nature, and with the people around you. This is my take on the eternity is now. And also this religious attitude, I wanted to add that it is maybe not what comes after our death, what is meant by eternity when Jesus taught his people, in the eternity, this is the real gift. But what if the eternity even Jesus meant is the here and now, really connecting with the present moment? Because the present is a gift, a free gift that is always available to us to anchor ourselves into it. And one practice that really helps, and one Tai Chi teacher when I was in Thailand taught to us, love even your next breath. Then your life will be
Mm.
easy to manage.
Mm.
And there's only this moment. So begin again, just this one breath. Just be aware of this one breath. Try to take in the sensory experiences that come up in your body. Try to view your thoughts as clouds in the sky. And just this one breath, worth more than a spiritual book that you read and do not take for good, but this one breath is an experience that you can make for yourself. You can experiment with it yourself, and therefore you can experience it for yourself and decide what is true for you and shape your life according to what you want to be true.
Wonderful. Fully agree. This is something that I have a long way to go in integrating into my own mind. My tendency is to always be looking for something to export, something to profit, something to gain from any moment of activity that I'm in. And the deepest realization, the most nourishing um, fruit of the spirit, this most intimate connection with being, with love, with eternity, with this moment, is something that by its very nature, if I go in looking to grasp it, if I look in going to profit from it, if I go in looking to take it back with me, if I go in looking to keep everything held tight but yet still experience it, it's sort of like a sunset. You can only receive a sunset to the extent that you give yourself to it, to the extent that you provide a loving offering of your attention to this reality is the only way that you can truly feel this nourishment, this gift that we are given. And the moment, our presence, our awareness, these are the same ways. We can never take it with us. We can't take a photo and post it on Instagram. We can't show it to other people. We can't prove it to ourselves, and even within our own mind have some proof and whatever of what exactly we are experiencing in these moments where we're truly connecting with our source, with our deepest spirit, with the most beautiful and loving aspects of our nature. But this is the greatest free gift that is on offer to us, and it is within all of us already available, and it's something that we can accept, we can sink into, and we can learn to return and train to remain, as a teacher of mine said. And it is important to recognize that there is still this relative world, there is this ultimate reality of love and this free gift of eternity that we have, and there is a sort of, like you say, there's this dance and this balance that we all must find for ourselves. Nobody can do this for us. Nobody can just copy paste this experience into our brain. We must learn to, in our own ways, with whatever we personally are hung up on or twisted about, we must find ourselves, look within, and learn to, over time, allow a more and more intimate, more and more relaxed, more and more accepting, loving, and grateful connection with that which is already always present for us, and this divinity that we're all blessed to be allowed to commune with when we can. So, anyways, man, really appreciate your thoughts on this stuff. This is obviously a little bit in woo-woo spirituality territory, but I do like, this is the most important set of orientations and intentions that I'm looking to integrate and to understand more and to grow more in, and to allow to kind of work on me and allow me to continue to orient myself in the way that I'm going, even as I'm looking to pursue many relative ends, understanding that there are these wonderful, deeper, more ultimate ends as well, and keeping that in the front of my mind and giving me perspective on what is going on in my day to day or in my year to year or whatever. This is so important and definitely something that I'm apt to forget frequently. So appreciate the conversation, my man. Appreciate your reflections and thoughts. These are things that I'm looking forward to having on my mind more and more during this coming week.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you as well. Beautiful quote that you only can experience a sunset to the extent you are giving it to, you're giving yourself to it. The same applies to life. You only can take with you what you gave away. Therefore, yeah, I totally look forward to integrating this into my
Yes,
week as well.
100%.
Just one breath.
Yes, absolutely.
Just one breath.
Yep. All right. I appreciate you, man. I love
See
talking
you,
about
man.
these things with you. And yeah, I'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Talk to you soon. Bye.